As a theater kid, I never realized that all those years of studying, I was just doing trauma therapy. I mean, it explains a lot. Hello, everyone. Terrence here with Hollywood Already Did It. If you haven't already, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, ring that bell below. Anytime we have something, you will be among the first to know. We have hit episode 8 of Starfleet Academy. This one is called The Life of Stars. It is a dealing with your ish episode. A lot of these cadets, because they're kids, don't know how to deal with trauma and don't know how to deal with when something which feels so huge sort of tramples in on their life, how to sort of come out of it, come on the other side of it. The adults have been calloused up enough to have dealt with enough things in their life to get on the other side of it, but these cadets aren't prepared with that. Some are worse than others, specifically Sam, just because of the way that she is programmed. And so we sort of see these kids and how they have to face their trauma head on and then come out on the other side. It's a good episode. It is still dealing with the fallout of the episode that happened 2 episodes ago with Braca sort of just getting the upper hand on Starfleet. And so we start off with Terima returning to Starfleet. She is healthy. She has a brand new inhibitor, one that is even more enhanced than the one that she had before, that allows her to control her powers better without causing harm to herself. So she seems to be on the up and up. It is it is an easy trope to sort of just add in, like, hey, we fixed it, we made it better, which then leads to why didn't she have that in the first place? But I guess you could say that she had to basically rip it out and cause herself harm to be able to then get the new one, because at the time she got it originally, it wasn't updated. I still feel that's a writing thing that could have been better way prepared to put the new one on her without just saying we gave her a new one, so everything is good now. But she's back at Starfleet, and she's been transferred to Starfleet as opposed to being on the War College, and that's partially for her studies and for her because they feel like what she does and what she can do, she has a better mindset and better career trajectory and path on Starfleet side than she does on the War College. The problem with that is they make that choice without talking to Rima. She's not given the option to do so. She just comes back and is like, put this Starfleet uniform on. This is where you're going to be from now on. And so she's already dealing with her set of angst and trauma from everything that has occurred. Everybody's walking around looking at her like she's a walking and talking grenade. So she just feels like she's on eggshells. Nobody's looking at her and seeing the true her outside of her brother. And then eventually we see Sam sort of do that the same way because she's just an innocent, innocent, sweet, sweet girl. But no one is aware that she's coming back, specifically Caleb. No clue. So then we see a little couple of shots of like the cadets going through some training, and they're struggling. They're just having a hard time. They're not showing camaraderie or teamwork, both inside of training and outside of training. It's just everybody's very tense and on edge because they have not actually done the work to deal with what happened on the Miyazaki. And so Captain Nala is like, all right, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring in a ringer. And so I've never watched Discovery, but I can tell just by the way that she was introduced, she has connections to Reno, that Sylvia Tilly returns. May mean something for the folks who watch Star Trek Discovery. But she is a teacher with a lot of bubbly energy, but she is also about her business. And she's brought in to teach a self-imposed, they must take class of theater. And Nala's proposing theater to sort of be this perfect way to hide a therapy session or therapy bonding. Because you're gonna get into your emotions, you're gonna use certain plays to sort of be the beacon that lets you express your feelings, and then eventually hit a trigger where you're like, all right, this is no longer about the play, it's about my life. And so they're doing this counseling through what eventually becomes the play Our Town, which is picked by Sam later on in the episode. In this, Sam falls in love with theater. Like, theater is her thing. As a kid, she's innocent and she just consumes anything that is brought up to her. So she's just learning, reading plays at a clip, kind of like Neo in the Matrix, like just plug it in and just getting all the information she can. But in theater class, she glitches out. She's still glitching to a point where it's directly affecting her health. So now Terima and Sam are bunkmates, they're roommates with Genesis. They're all in a trio, they're together. And Sam looks at Tarima, and Tarima gets her first laugh since she's been back at Starfleet, because Tarima sees that Sam looks at her and sees the true her, and Sam's ball of innocence and a ball of energy, and you can't help but smile at Sam, and so Tarima does. It's the first time she's done that since she's been back. Caleb tries to reach out to Tarima. He goes to talk to her. She sort of blows him off. It's like, look, I don't know what you want from me. She's very cold to him, and he doesn't quite understand why. So then they end up in theater class. Sam, like I said, introduces our town to them. She's done all her homework on all the plays that ever existed, pretty much, and our town is the one that she feels fits best for this class. But while she's sort of pontificating about how great the play is, she glitches out to a point where she passes out and starts glitching seriously on the floor. It's bad. It looks like it's in a bad way for Sam. So Sam is taken to the med bay, and Doc does not know how to fix her. He's at a loss for words. Like, I don't know what to do. He's also a little upset at Sam in that she's been glitching for a while, and the patch that they put in place has not been working, and she has not said anything. We learn a little bit later why, but she's just been eating this and keeping it quiet. And so they are trying to figure out how to fix her. And the Doc's like, look, I don't have the tools here to do so. I don't know how to do this. I can't. And Sam enters the fact like, hey, we can go back to my home planet. They may know what to do. But Nala and Doc are like, well, Cask doesn't really play well with others. They don't really want anybody else in their world. We can't just allow you to go there because of Starfleet. We don't have a good eye of what's happening there. And they may not let you back. If they go in there and fix you, they may decide that you're not got to return. And so Nala, before she kind of assumes anything, she's like, do you want to return? And Sam's like, oh, no, absolutely. Like, I want to be in Starfleet. And so that's when Nala and Doc say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go with you as escorts to Cask. That way they can't sort of deny Federation folks being there. And like, if we're there as a guide, maybe they'll be more inclined to allow you back because we're present. So Doc and Nala escort her to Cask. When they arrive there, though, they find out that there's not much that they can be done. She's beyond repair. Back at Starfleet, the cadets can't focus. They're having a really, really hard time on theater because they're very concerned about what just happened to their classmate Sam. And so Sylvia uses that pain to dig a little deeper into what's actually happening and the trauma that's sort of going on, which opens up more wounds as they go along. And then we get a moment where Tarima drunkenly slides in Caleb's DMs. I love that Starfleet still has it that you can slide in DMs many, many, many years in the future. But she sends him a message drunkenly, and then they meet in the corridor, and she is 3 sheets to the wind. She is drunk as all get out. But she's sort of having a realization of like no one sees her or asks her any questions anymore. They're all looking at her if she's a pariah, like she's a walking and talking bomb. Even Caleb has sort of been on pins and needles around her. And so then in her drunken state, she throws herself at Caleb in a sexual way. And Caleb first is kind of like, yeah, I like this. But then it's like, hold on, wait. He wisely says, nope, no, you're drunk. This isn't going to happen right now. I love that Caleb is smart enough to know that I shouldn't take advantage of this girl while she's drunk, but not smart enough to know that I should write my girl back while she's in a coma for 40 days, 30 days. But Caleb is like, no, we can't do this right now. To which sets Tarima off a little bit more. She's kind of like, well, hold on. You've been pouting and moping around me all this time, poking the bear, kind of you're like trying to go close to the abyss. You're putting your foot in the water, like you're getting close to the violent star. But when I actually throw myself at you, you don't want it anymore. Like, what do you want from me? And so she's very defensive. She can't see Caleb's honesty in what he's truly wanted because she doesn't feel good about herself in the moment. She also then throws a little dart at him. It's like, go be with Genesis. Now that you're a Starfleet stooge, go be with Genesis. And he leaves, and she sort of has a bit of a breakdown. She then goes to her corridor drunk and meets with Genesis, and they have a sort of a healthy realization of themselves, and in that you can see that Tarima is just hurting. She just doesn't know how to deal with the pain that she has. She's mad that she hasn't been able to do the choices. She didn't get to choose a Starfleet. She didn't get to choose to have this new inhibitor. None of these things were choices that she made. They were put upon her. And Genesis is doing everything in her power to sort of be kind and help Tarima through this. And in that, Tarima's like, I had something against you. And for a moment, Genesis is like, oh crap, she knows. Because obviously she knows. She senses everything. She deflects it and says that, hey, you remind me of someone that I used to know. And Genesis kind of calms herself a little bit and then starts giving words of advice. And she basically tells Tarima, like, look, the trauma that occurred at the Miyazaki, which Tarima can't seem to get past. She just wants to go back to the time before Miyazaki. Genesis lets her know, like, hey, this version of you now is the thing that you're on your way to making yourself. You're on your way to making yourself the next version of you. So that version that existed in the past is in the past. And you've got to use some of the things that you learned, or the pain, the trauma, everything that you've gone through to sort of get on the other side and become the better and newer version of you. You have to do it. I have to do it. We all have to go through this. And Tarima kind of is like, wow, you are really nice, Genesis. I can understand now why Caleb likes you. And Genesis is like, hold on. We're just friends. And Tarima's like, cool story, bro. Cool. I can read minds. You may not know this. I can sense feelings. I can read minds. I can tell that the both of you are digging on each other. I'm going to keep it to myself. I'm going to take my drunk ass to sleep. But I know y'all got something going. They don't realize it. Well, they're being respectful of each other, but it's clear that Tarima has caught on to the pheromone that exists between the two of them when they are around each other. Meanwhile, back with the doc is being really cold towards Sam. They get to Cask, the folks, the makers ask Sam to sort of step in this light to get repaired. And in that, Sam's kind of like, hey, Doc, can you hold my hand? She's just afraid. She doesn't want to go in there. She doesn't know what's going to be on the other side of that. And the doc's like, nah, I don't think I will do that. Just cold blooded. This girl is here crying, freaking out. And Doc's like, nah, I don't think I will. And so she goes under, and they're doing sort of a diagnostic checks on her. And when that is happening, the doc reveals that, like, hey, Sam reminds me a lot of my daughter, Belle. And what we've learned is that the doc's been around for centuries. And in this, his way of dealing with his trauma and his pain of the loss of his daughter is to just be like, I don't want to ever put myself in that situation again. I don't want to put myself attachments to too much anybody. I don't want to put myself out there to love anybody. I am just going to keep it insular. And in that, he's being overtly cold to Sam, who reminds him a lot of Belle. Back at Starfleet the next day at class, using the Our Town play, they sort of start all kind of sharing their feelings. And in that, Sylvia starts pushing a little hard on Tarima, to the point where she does sort of come out of her shell. And she lashes out a bit at Sylvia, to a point where Sylvia has to check her, like, hey, I know you're hurting. You're skating really close to the wind here, because I am still your superior and your teacher. I'm gonna allow you to get a couple of these off, but watch your tone. Which is why I was like, I'm gonna have to go watch Discovery, because I like how she handled that. She didn't freak out too much, but she was like, hey, know your place. I'm not the one. But in the play of Our Town, there's this person called Ghost Girl, which is a person that, when something terrible happens, she dies, and she then comes back as a ghost and has all of these things of what she wish she had done, what she had kind of made herself a better person. In this, Sylvia is like, well, you're back. You're not the Ghost Girl. You're equating yourself to the Ghost Girl. The difference is you actually have a chance to be back. You're actually tangibly here. So while you may relate to that, and while there may be some similarities, you've got that other chance. You can go be the better version of stuff. You can go be who it is you are after the trauma. We all have it. I've had it. You have to get to the next piece of that. And when you came back, because you came back, there are people here who wanted you back, who cared about that you were back. Sam's not there now, but she's one of them. She looks at Genesis. Genesis is like, no, true. I do care about you. And Caleb as well. It's going to suck that she kind of gets out of this trauma, and then she's going to eventually catch Caleb and Genesis in an incomparable position, and it's going to freak her out. I can guarantee you, it's going to happen. It may not happen this season, but it's going to happen at some point in time. Back with the doc, the last sort of scene of this show, and it's kind of a beautiful scene. The doc and Nala learn that she's beyond repair. She can't be fixed. They're going to have to terminate her. And in this, they realize that the reason why she is glitching out so much is because she doesn't have the tools capable of sort of callousing herself over to deal with the trauma. these glitches are happening because she has no sort of memory or sort of a system set to deal with coming out of grief. She keeps living in the trauma, and it's causing her to glitch out. And it's because she wasn't programmed with a childhood. She was programmed to start the day she hit Starfleet. And so that's all she has of memory. She's just learning, but she doesn't have any back history. And so the doc is like, comes up with an idea of like, I think we have a way to sort of fix this. Let's give her a secondary program. It's going to be an attachment to what she already has, but let's give her a secondary loaded program where I take 2 weeks of Earth time and give her 17 years of time and cask in this program set up to give her a childhood. Like, I will act as her father. I will have her go through her pain stakes. I will have her grow up. I will have her get out of the crib. I will do all the things that allow her to create a roadmap of resiliency, a roadmap of going through childhood where she has her ups, downs, she falls in love, she falls out of love. I will create that for her, and I will do that for her. And it's him sort of extending his olive arm out to her, putting himself back out there, caring about somebody, but also not wanting to lose her. And so we see a sort of a program of her and kids and toddlers and um, high school, if you will. And then finally we get the version that we get at the end, and they return to Starfleet. And then we sort of see the cadets uh, coming around and kind of coming out on the other side, the rainbow side of their trauma. And Sylvia and Terima have a bit of a moment where they bond and become a little bit closer. And Terima understands now where Sylvia was coming from. Don't know if this is the last time they're going to see Sylvia, but she's off to go do whatever it is she's going to go do with. I think it sounded like she said she was good with older classmen. But I wouldn't mind seeing her again. And Nala sort of opens the door and leaves the door open for her to return. But yeah, solid episode. Sort of becomes a Doc/Sam episode, but it's a lot of dealing with Terima and her sort of trauma, and the cadets dealing with their trauma. But I do love that they have sort of put the hint in there that Terima is well aware of what Genesis and Caleb feel for each other, and she does respect and likes both of them, and knows that, hey, I appreciate that you guys aren't acting on it because of me, but at some point she's going to catch them in the acting, like, hey, you guys want each other more than I want Caleb or Caleb wants me. And when that happens, oh, it's going to get messy. I do hope that the next episode we kind of have to finish off our arc for Braca. Paul Giamatti has to return, so I hope that now that we've sort of dealt with the trauma, we can now put the kids back into some sort of precarious positions now that they're better equipped to deal with it and won't quite fold in fear or in pain when those situations arrive. What did you guys think about the 8th episode of Starfleet Academy called The Life of Stars? Leave your thoughts and comments in the comments below. If you haven't already, you can follow us on X at HollywoodADI. You can hit us up on email at HollywoodAlreadyDidIt@gmail.com. We also have a podcast with the same name. That's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere that plays podcasts. We're there. And like always, I got my ticket. You got yours.